So one of the cool things about Kelly Mill that I loved, last year was my first year at Kelly Mill in the fifth grade. Every single fifth grader has a chance to do this oratorical project. Oratorical is just public speaking, the practice or the skill of speaking in front of people. And so the oratorical project will be essentially you writing an oratorical piece where you're writing it on your own, and then you'll practice, 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 and then deliver that as a presentation or speaking in front of people. So just like you would get up and talk about a project or something, present in front of class, you're going to do that, but you're going to create kind of, it's like a speech. And so every year there's a national competition. So there is an official competition with a new topic every year. And this year, the topic is healing the world with optimism. And so when you think about optimism, being just hopeful and confident for the future, that a positive outcome is going to happen, when you are optimistic, this topic here is what you all, every fifth grader, is going to be writing and then eventually speaking about. So this project is something where the teacher has to be hands off for the most part. I'm not going to be involved. All the other fifth grade teachers involved a whole lot with giving a whole lot of support. This is your writing. We want this to be you and what you create. And if you happen to move on further nationally, like, through the county or the state or nationally, like the expectation is this is your speech. But parents and adults and people can give you pointers and input, and you can kind of shift things around based on that. But for the most part, we want to see what you come up with. And so with this, there's two great videos of examples of kids your age that have went through this process, and this is videos of their speech. So please look at these. I published one, or I presented one today on It's Learning for you to look at. This is a national winner, super amazing. He did a great job, but this shows you really what we're looking for, the outline or an example of this oratorical. And so here is what you need to know. You are given a grade on this, and so you are expected to do this for an ELA score, a couple of them, in fact, for the writing and for the presenting. And so here's how you'll be scored. Poise means your appearance, your personality. Were you confident? Did you have some personality, or did you speak very monotone like a robot? Lots of times we do that when we're nervous. So that's why you're going to practice so many times to where this is like you acting out. You're acting out your writing, you're delivering it because you're confident in it. And so appearance also is important. You're going to dress up nice. You don't have to have a suit and tie. Some people do a nice dress or whatever it is, but you're going to dress nice and show some personality. That's worth 10 points. The actual speech, your content, what the speech is, that is going to be worth the majority. The most points is 40 points here. So the actual written part, and that has to do, did you adhere to the subject, meaning did you stay on topic? Did you follow what it is related to optimism, healing the world with optimism? Did you come up with kind of the theme and stick with that theme? Was it logical? The stuff that you wrote is your content. Was it colorful and interesting? So here are the questions you need to look back at. Please look at this every time you do a draft and say, am I hitting all these points? Did you stay on topic? Did it make sense? Was it logical in how it was organized? Did you include an introduction? You must have an introduction. You must have transitions, transition words and transitions between ideas. You need a conclusion at the end. You need to be very descriptive and using descriptive words, things like we know good writers do, figures of speech like figurative language, similes, metaphors, very good adjectives, colorful word choice, zestful. Everything is really interesting and grabs the attention of those that are listening. Descriptive phrases. Okay, so how you write it, think of that as your writing portion, and the content of what you write about is worth 40 points. Now, just as important nearly is the delivery and the presentation, your actual speaking of what you've written. And so that's your voice, your volume. Do you pronounce your words correctly? Using hand gestures or um, eye contact. Being like sincere means like making us believe that this is something that is important to you, emphasizing things to where it's engaging and people want to listen to this. So here's the questions here. The audience hear you? Did you speak like a conversation? In other words, it was a natural thing where you can see your personality and it wasn't a nervous type of thing so much. I know this is hard for us. That's why you're going to keep practicing. Did you start on time? Did you pronounce everything correctly? Did you just hide behind your cards? You're going to have note cards to help you out, but you can't use these the whole time and just read them. They're just going to help you stay on topic and help you remember some. Were you dynamic, capturing the audience attention? It's something where we want you to give us a presentation to where it's entertaining, it is interesting, it's engaging. And then 15 points is overall effectiveness, your appeal, impression, attitude. What was the overall impression? Is it something that people were interested in the whole time, or was it presented in a way to where people really were bored or really didn't enjoy it at all? Like, you are performing in front of people in a lot of ways. This is the reason why this is more like a performance, is because you'll have several weeks to practice this. Okay? So here's the deal. You are going to get those points, but these are things that you can't do. Point reductions or possibly disqualified for the competition. Even if you don't want to compete, this will take points off your grade. You can't use props. You can't dress in a costume. It's normal dress. Like I said, you can dress nicely, but nothing special out of the ordinary. And it's just you have your note cards, and that's it up on stage. Self-identification means you can't include any names of like personal that would tell where you live, or your name, or people that you know. You can say mom, but don't give her first and last name. You don't want to be identified. Okay. Part of that is, if this was, on video for anybody to see, it wouldn't be for anybody. But if you were to continue on, lots of people in this audience, like these national audiences, would see you. And so that's why they have the same rules, whether it's just for your class project here with no intention of entering the competition in nationally, or whether it's something where you're a finalist. We all have to kind of follow the same rules. And so that's why the self-identification one's there. Time penalties. 1 point is deducted for every 15 seconds over 3 minutes. 3 minutes is the max. Okay, really kind of the minimum you should shoot for is 2 minutes. So between 2 and 3 minutes, but really you can't go over 3 minutes. And so you'll practice this over and over to where you know for sure if you have to cut things to get under 3 minutes, you'll need to. Okay. Um, Failure to announce the official topic at the beginning of the speech. You need to let them know, like when you were writing in your first paragraph, you need to let them know this topic right here, healing the world with optimism. We need to know that that is what your focus is. That's what you're talking about. Okay. Failure to complete the speech means you're disqualified from the competition, and of course your grade's not going to be in good shape. So you need to completely go all the way through. Even if you get nervous or you have to read some of your note cards or restart or however it is, you just keep going. And then finally, failure to identify no original material. In other words, if you're just quoting things that other people have said over and over and reading what other people's ideas are, or this didn't come from you, basically, then that is plagiarizing. Just like in your writing, you can't just copy somebody down without giving them credit. Now, you can do quotes. You can quote somebody famous, for instance, about that has spoken about this topic, but you have to give them credit for it. Okay, just like you would in your writing. So this is the rough timeline. We introduced this topic to you. Every fifth grade class is getting the introduction today on the 11th, and then we're going to do writing through about the 20th, and then practice over and over and over until the beginning of February. Okay, so you will be given some time, especially this first week, to write your draft, do a little research, do kind of pick and choose what works, what doesn't, change things up, and then you really are going to write this down, make yourself some note cards, and practice at home to anybody and everybody that'll listen. You know, your cat, your dog, your stuffed animals, brothers, sisters, mom, dad, whoever, you're going to practice. And then everybody, we call it a competition. You can decide whether or not you want to move forward or not, but everybody is still giving their oratorical presentation because it's also a grade. But one winner will be from each homeroom. Virtual learners will have one winner also. And then we have to hand in our names for the competition. Um, and then the school competition will have one winner. Okay, so if you're interested in that and you were chosen, you would move on and do the school competition, kind of like the spelling bee. So I will help you out a little bit as we go, but not too much. This is your ideas. You could go a million different directions with this, so we really want to see what you come up with to write about and talk about this idea of healing the world with optimism.